Welcome you all. Today we are going to see op-amp parameters. In the first lecture previous we have seen the ideal op-amp, its characteristics. So ideal op-amp characteristics, in that we have seen it will have infinite impedance, zero output impedance, but practically this is not infinite. It will have some of the values, or input impedance will be in the range of 500 kilo ohm to 2 mega ohm, and zero output impedance, ideally it is zero but practically will be in the range of 20 ohm to 100 ohm. Ideal op amp will have infinite open loop gain, and practically it will have some value of 20 kilo ohm to 200 kilo ohm. Bandwidth is infinite, but in practical case it is limited to few kilohertz. Ideally we can say that op amp will have zero noise contribution, but in practical case when we are applying op amp for different experimentations, it will contribute some small amount of noise at the output. So ideally we can say that offset voltage, output offset voltage is zero, but which is non-zero. Some small amount of offset voltage will be available at the output. Ideally we can say that both differential inputs stick together, so the same input will be there on both input terminals. So we'll see one by one infinite input impedance, how it is measured. So it is the impedance measured across the input terminals, and it is Thevenin's equivalent resistance of the internal connection between the two input terminals. So input impedance is nothing but a ratio of input voltage to the input current, that is Zi is equal to Vi by Ii. When Zi is finite, the input current is obviously zero. The op amp will neither supply current to a circuit nor will accept current from any external circuit. In real case, the resistance is 500 kilo ohm to 2 mega ohm. Zero output impedance. So output impedance is measured when we are looking back into the output terminal. So we see the voltage source with an internal resistance. This internal resistance op amp is an output impedance. This internal resistance is in series with the load, and that will reduce the output voltage available to the load. So it will range in 20 to 100 ohm. We say that op amp will have infinite open loop gain, and that is represented with A, and without feedback, that is open loop gain is without feedback having A. The ideal op amp will have infinite open loop gain, but real op amp is having 20k to 200k open loop gain. In this circuit we can see that Vin is input signal given to the input terminals, and at the output, which is amplified by a gain factor AV. So your output is the amplified version of input signal Vin. Ideal op amp will exhibit infinite bandwidth. So ideal op amp will amplify all signals from DC to the highest AC frequencies. In real op amps, the bandwidth is rather limited, and this limitation is specified by the gain bandwidth product, which is equal to the frequency where the amplifier gain becomes unity. So we can find out the gain bandwidth product is nothing but graph between the gain versus frequency, and in some op amps such as 741 have some limited bandwidth of up to few kilohertz. Zero noise contribution. In an ideal op amp, all noise voltages produced are external to the op amp. Thus any noise in the output signal must have been in input signal as well. The ideal op amp contributes nothing extra to the output noise. Zero output offset. The output offset voltage of an amplifier is the output voltage that exhibit when it should be zero. It means that when there is no any input signal at the input terminals, its output must be equal to 0, but still there is some small amount of output voltage present at the output is called as output offset voltage. Ideal op amp will have 0 output offset voltage, but practically there is some non-zero value is also present. Both differential inputs stick together. What this means? This means that voltage applied to one inverting inputs also appear at the other non-inverting input terminals. Suppose that we applied some voltage to inverting input and then connect a voltmeter between the non-inverting input terminal and power supply common. Then the voltmeter will read the same potential as on the non-inverting as on the inverting input terminal. So we can say that both differential inputs stick together having the same input voltage. Now we will see the parameters of op amp. As we know that there are different input modes, single-ended inputs where only one input terminal is having input voltage and other is connected to ground. Then differential input mode, on both the input terminals we have applied different input voltages. Now common input mode is when we are applying the same voltage in phase, frequency and amplitude to both the input terminals is called as common input mode. In this case, we know that ideally output voltage of op amp V out is equal to gain A into differential input voltage, where Vd is differential input voltage and that is difference between input at non-inverting terminal minus input at inverting input terminal. But if op amp is in common mode input, that is the same input voltage will appear on both the input terminals, Vd will become 0. Hence my output voltage V0 is also equal to 0. In this figure we can see that the same input in amplitude, phase and frequency will appear on both the input terminals and output will be represented as 0 volt. So the gain we can calculate in such case, gain is output voltage by differential input voltage. If output is 0, my gain will be also become 0. So the gain available for this circuit is called as common mode gain. Now we want to define common mode rejection ratio. This is nothing but the ability of an amplifier to reject the common mode signals. And mathematically we are defining this one as it is the ratio of open loop gain to the common mode gain. That is CMRR is AOL, open loop gain, to the common mode gain. We have seen that common mode gain is 0 as output voltage is 0. So when your denominator is 0, CMRR will become infinite. It means that common mode rejection ratio is infinite. So op amp can reject any small amount of common mode input. Op amp will never allow the common mode input signal to pass at the output. So we are representing this common mode rejection ratio in decibels. So that is 20 log AOL by ACM and it is very high. Higher the CMRR is the better for an operational amplifier. So open loop gain is high but common mode gain is low. So CMRR is higher. Input voltage range, the range of input voltages that we are providing at both the input terminals, so that op amp will function properly without any distortion at the output, or we can say in another words as it is the range of input voltages when applied to both the input terminals such that it will not disturb the functioning of op amp. And the range of common mode voltage is plus minus 13 volt. We can apply to both the input terminals. Input offset voltage. So this is the differential DC voltage required between the inputs to force the output to 0 volt. Input offset voltage is the voltage applied between the input terminals to make output offset voltage is equal to 0 is called as input offset voltage, and it is in the range of 2 millivolt or less. Input bias current is the term, and it is the current, average current flowing into the input terminals, or we can define it is the average of the currents that flow into the inverting and non-inverting input terminals of the op-amp, and maximum value of input bias current is 500 nanoampere for 741C IC, which is very small input current. We can see here, because of V1 and V2 voltage sources, some currents I1 and I2 are flowing into the input terminals. So my input bias current is average of the input current flowing in. Input impedance, it is the total resistance between the inverting and non-inverting input terminals. The differential input impedance is the equivalent resistance measured at either the inverting or non-inverting input terminals with other terminal connected to ground. Common mode input impedance is measured by the change in common mode input voltage over the changes of bias current. When we are looking into the input terminal, to determine the input impedance, other terminal must be connected to ground. Input offset current, it is the algebraic difference between the currents into the inverting and non-inverting input terminals and referred as input offset current. See that I1 is the current into non-inverting, I2 is current flowing into the inverting input terminal. So my offset current is I1 minus I2, and offset voltage is nothing but, because of VB1, I1 is current, and so it will develop some voltage here I1 into Rn, and because of VB2, I2 is current flowing to the input impedance, and because of which some voltage developed is I2 into Rn. So offset voltage is nothing but voltage because of VB1 minus voltage because of VB2 developed at the input impedance. I1 into Rn minus I2 into Rn, I1 minus I2 Rn. So we, in terms of offset current, we can define input offset voltage is product of input offset current into input impedance Rin, and hence we can define the error voltage at the output. V out error is gain times the output offset voltage, that is VOS. Output impedance, it is measured at the output terminal. When we are looking back into the output terminal, Z out may be the output impedance, and typical value is 75 ohm for 741 op-amp. Input capacitance, it is the equivalent capacitance measured at either the inverting or non-inverting input terminal with other terminal connected to ground. It is similar to the input resistance. How we are finding out is, the only changes here we are finding for the capacitance, and typical value is 1.4 picofarad. Power supply range, this power supply range may be differential or single-ended, that is differential power supplies we are providing as plus VCC to the pin number 7 and minus V to the pin number 4. So this power supply is in the range of plus minus 22 volt. Differential power supply, but equal power supplies we have to provide between the two pins 7 and 4. Output voltage swing, it is the range of output voltage, and that indicates the maximum output voltage that can be given by the op-amp, plus saturation and minus saturation voltages. This voltage will depend on the power supply voltage used, and depending on that, 85 to 90% of the supply voltage will be available as the maximum output voltage, and it is usually plus minus 13.5 volt for supply voltage of plus minus 15 volt. Power supply rejection ratio, it can also be called as supply voltage rejection ratio or power supply sensitivity. PSRR is the ratio of change in input offset voltage with respect to change in power supply voltage. So PSRR is delta VIO, change in input offset voltage, divided by delta V, change in supply voltage. PSRR, when we are representing in decibels, it will be given as 20 log power supply variation by input offset voltage variation. That is change in input offset voltage because of the change in supply voltage. Generally, PSRR is frequency dependent and decreases as the frequency increases. Its typical value is near about 6.31 microvolts per volt. Gain bandwidth product. Gain bandwidth product of op amp when gain is 1. For an open loop voltage gain versus frequency graph, it is 1 megahertz. Transient response. For any system, when we are plotted the response, that is change in voltage or change in output with respect to change in time, this response will be divided into two parts. One is steady state response and another is transient response. How we can define the steady state response? It is the portion of the complete response before the output attains a fixed value is called as steady state response. Once it will reach the fixed value, remains at that level, therefore it is referred to as steady state response. And transient response is the complete portion of response before it will attain the fixed value. Transient response is time dependent, whereas steady state response is independent of time. So transient response will have the two characteristics. One is rise time and another is percentage of overshoot. So what is the rise time? It is the time for final output to take from 10% to 90% of its final value. That can be defined as the rise time. Or in another way we can say that rise time is for an output time required to attain from 10% of final value to the 90% of final value is rise time. And overshoot is nothing but the amount by which the output deviates from its steady state value is called as overshoot. So summarize, transient response is the portion of complete response before it will attain its fixed value. It's called as transient response. And steady state response is once response will reach the fixed value, remains at that level, is referred as steady state response. Slew rate is the very important factor in op amp parameters for the selection of op amp, as slew rate will define the maximum rate of change of output voltage per unit of time, and it is expressed in volts per microsecond. So slew rate will define how rapid the op amp will respond to the changes into the input frequency. So is there a small change in input frequency, that will be reflected at the output. So this response of op amp is called as slew rate, and typical value of slew rate is 0.5 volt per microsecond. From this circuit we can see that Vin is some voltage that we have provided and having closed configuration with gain is equal to 1. Vin will change from 0 to some another state, and that output will vary from minus Vmax to plus Vmax, whereas it will require the delta T time to change from minus Vmax to the plus Vmax. So for this system we can define the slew rate is change in output voltage, or it is the maximum rate of change of output voltage. What is change in output? Plus Vmax to minus Vmax, plus Vmax minus of minus Vmax, and change in time is delta T. So slew rate is delta T, delta V out by delta T. Okay. So from this graph also we can define or determine the slew rate. See here, this is the minimum voltage that available at the output. this will vary from minus 10 to plus 10. So if we consider minus 9 as the maximum minus voltage and plus Vmax is 9, change in time to reach from minus 9 to plus 9 is 1 microsecond. So simply we can determine slew rate as change in output voltage Vout plus 9 volt minus of minus 9 volt by 1 microsecond is 18 volts per microsecond. Now we will see the data sheet of operational amplifier. Fairchild IC is given here mu A741, which is frequency compensated operational amplifier. Fairchild is the manufacturer, and this will give the description of the operational amplifier, general descriptions, some features of op-amp, then absolute maximum ratings of op-amp also given here, connection diagram, and in which packages it will be available: 8 lead mini DIP, 10 lead DIP, 14 pin DIP. So different packages are also given here and with absolute maximum ratings. In this data sheet, electrical parameters are also given, that is what are all parameters we have seen is input offset voltage, input offset current, input bias current, input resistance, input capacitance, output resistance, power consumption, supply voltage. All these parameters are listed and with the minimum value, typical value, maximum, and its units are also given here. So from this data sheet we can see different characteristics of the operational amplifier. Some transient response test circuits will be also given here. So with the help of these circuits we can determine the transient response of op-amp. And some applications as unity gain amplifier, non-inverting amplifier, inverting, clipping circuits, then integrator, differentiator, low noise amplifier, then slew rate power amplifiers. So a number of applications are also given into the data sheet. With the study of this data sheet, we can go for the better selection of operational amplifier ICs for the specific applications. So this data sheet also gives that the features of IC. So every manufacturer with their IC or when they are giving the data sheet of that IC will provide its features, electrical characteristics, pin configurations, pin layouts, then its what we can say is maximum absolute ratings. All these things will be given here. So we highlight some of the features of 741 here, that it does not require external frequency compensation. Short circuit protection is available inbuilt into the IC. Offset null capability is also provided, that we know pin number 1 and 5 is used for offset null, and having large common mode and differential voltage ranges, very low power consumption of the IC, and it will have no latch problem. So these are some features has been given here with the data sheet. So by studying or by referring this data sheets, we can go for better selection of IC for the different applications. In today's lecture we have seen ideal op-amp, its ideal characteristics, op-amp parameters, various parameters we have seen, then how to read the data sheet, in that data sheet what are the parts included, and features of the operational amplifier. In next lecture we will go for some of the configurations of operational amplifier,